This is the most successful shutdown ever in the history of struggle.
Success for the EFF, but at what cost? People stranded, sporadic violence, an SABC crew wounded, a petrol bomb attack, buses stoned, and millions spent on policing. Hello, I'm Jane Dutton. 2 petrol bombs were thrown at the home of Soweto Parliament leader Nhlanhla Lux Dlamini. Dlamini has accused the EFF of being behind the attack. No injuries were reported. Some Gauteng residents were left without transport. PUTCO temporarily suspended their bus service in 5 major districts. It comes after buses were stoned and drivers intimidated.
In Soweto, buses were stoned and passengers as well as drivers had to flee. Police assisted in recovering one of the damaged buses. In El Dorado Park, services could not operate as the roads for our staff buses to pick up drivers were blocked.
Cape Town's Belleville taxi rank was a hive of activity, with operations continuing as normal.
Uyemsebenzini?
Yebo.
Hawu kanti awuyisabi shutdown ye-EFF?
I'm getting paid to work.
Police were visible in many parts of the country, and by midday, at least 87 suspects were in handcuffs. There were several thousand protesting members throughout the day. Police in Naledi collected tyres that were set alight in the early hours of the morning. Similar scenes played out in Allendale Road. In Tembisa, police fired rubber bullets as they cleared protesters from one of the main streets. In Cape Town, authorities had an aerial view of any potential protests as well as police roadblocks on major highways. An SABC crew was also taken to hospital after being injured in protests at Borchard's Quarry Road. EFF members in the mother city also marched to Parliament, while in the Buffalo City metro region, party members started mobilizing outside the King Paulo International Airport. Police and SANDF members closed off the airport entrance. And these were the scenes in KZN. Crowds moved through Johannesburg's Greyston Drive to the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. And of course, the end goal in Pretoria. South Africa is one of 4 African countries dealing with opposition party-driven protests today. Kenya, Tunisia and Nigeria are the others. Kenya's opposition leader, Raila Odinga, is driving protests over what he calls a high cost of living. Tunisia's protests are also driven by the high cost of living and the worsening state of that country's economy. While in Nigeria, protests there are being driven by allegations of electoral fraud. The protests here didn't affect the courts today. Former President Jacob Zuma was back in one. State Advocate Billy Downers applied to review and set aside the private prosecution Zuma launched against him. Zuma brought charges contravening the NPA Act against Downer and journalist Karen Maughan. The charges relate in part to Zuma's claims that the state illegally leaked Maughan a letter from his doctor during the course of his ongoing arms deal corruption case, in which Downer is the leader prosecutor. Both Downer and Maughan are challenging the summonses they've been served with. Despite some of the challenges today, power cuts isn't one of them. Eskom has suspended load shedding due to lower demand, and this will be the status for the public holiday tomorrow until 4 p.m. And then it's time to fill up on gas and candles, as stage 2 will be implemented tomorrow evening. Gauteng police are continuing to investigate a case of murder, and a 1 million reward has been posted by Forensics for Justice. It's in response to the murder of well-known insolvency practitioner Cluta Murray and his son Thomas. The pair was shot while travelling on the N1 near Midrand on Saturday. Murray worked as an insolvency practitioner for the Sechaba Trust, a company that was hired as a liquidator for Bosasa, a company implicated in several corrupt government scandals. And it's the United Nations International Day of Happiness, a reminder to create a happier and kinder world. And you can do this by following these daily practices. Be mindful, relax, breathe, and notice how you're feeling right now. Be grateful and be kind. On that note, goodbye. See you soon.
Eyewitness News, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, log on to ewn.co.za or ewn.mobi.